901-9633.
More than half of the 23 nonprofit health insurance co-ops created through Obamacare have collapsed, leaving 740,000 individuals without insurance in 2016, including in Illinois. The story coming out of the Chicago Tribune recently about Land of Lincoln Health, an ACA startup. It stopped writing new small group policies. This is major, and our next guest, Sally Pipes, president of the Pacific Research Institute, has been warning about this for years. Sally, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me on.
So, Sally, this is something that is very close to home here in Illinois, and the news is coming out. It was all over the Tribune today. Cranes recently published a huge article about it, and you've been saying this for a long time. Is Obamacare doomed to? Is it hurting people? And what is the what can we do? What can people do without insurance now that Obamacare is a reality?
Well, Obamacare will be celebrating its 6th anniversary on March 23rd. Survived a lot longer than I thought it would, and they've had 50 votes to repeal it. And just last Thursday, the Senate passed the reconciliation bill, which a lot of it would Obamacare would be repealed, such as the employer and individual mandate, the Medicaid expansion, the Cadillac tax, a lot of things. But I'm sure the president will veto it when it goes to his desk, just because this is his signature piece of legislation. But I would say that, in my mind, I've been talking about Obamacare is not going to work for the American people, and certainly following the collapse of 12 out of the 23 co-ops, which were supposed to bring about competition and lower prices as part of the ACA, the high premiums, the high deductibles, the high out-of-pocket costs that people are facing, and then the announcement a couple of weeks ago that United Health Group, the largest insurer in this country, said they are seriously considering not participating in the government exchanges in 2017 because they're losing $425 million this year alone. So I think Obamacare is definitely in a very precarious situation.
So this has been an experiment, and I don't use that term lightly. It's been an experiment playing around with taxpayer money. And it sounds like you're saying that this is a failing experiment.
Yes, well, if you look at the 12 out of 23 co-ops, which were supposed to, as I say, bring about competition and lower prices, the consumer-operated and oriented plans, as you mentioned, 740,000 people have now lost their plans and are scrambling to get coverage on the exchanges because the exchanges opened for enrollment from November 1st to January 31st. But if you want coverage starting January 1st, you've got to sign up for coverage by December 15th. So a lot of people are finding like, wow, how am I going to, figure out what kind of coverage I need? Do I want bronze, silver, gold, or platinum plans? It's very difficult. But on the co-ops, the feds put $2.4 billion in to get those 23 co-ops going, and to date, $1.3 billion have been lost on the 12 that have failed. And of course, the federal government doesn't have the money. That's taxpayer money that is, been going into these co-ops. And we, the taxpayers, have so far lost $1.4 billion. And the surviving co-ops have already, as of September 30th, racked up $200 million in losses. So it wouldn't surprise me that by the end of December that maybe only one or two of the 23 co-ops will actually still be able to survive.
We're chatting with Sally Pipes, the president of the Pacific Research Institute, who, as I said, has been warning for years that this result, the failure of these co-ops, the nonprofit health insurance co-ops created through Obamacare, they have failed, and it's leaving a lot of people without insurance. Let's talk about small business, because I know that's something very important to our listeners. Small business owners have been confused by Obamacare, and that's probably just an understatement. Confused, and now this is bad news. I mentioned before, Land of Lincoln Health here in Illinois has decided to stop writing the policies, and they're doing it for their own health and best interest, but it's hurting real people. What do you hear from the small business community? What options exist?
Well, I mean, the major issue is whether you're in small business or large business. Certainly, with these very much higher premiums, higher deductibles, the average deductible in most states, if you bought a silver plan on the exchange, would be the deductible would be $3,000 on average. Some are up to $6,000. If you're, a middle-income person, whether you work in a small business or you get coverage through your employer, this is a lot of money to have to pay out of pocket. And on the small business side, the shop exchange, they have a lot of trouble getting the shop exchange up and running. There's been a lot of problems with it. A lot of small businesses, those businesses 99 and under, have decided not to, do the shop exchange because it's not working well and it's very expensive. So it's not good for small business. And as you know, the employer mandate was delayed until January 1st of 2015. For those people between 50 and 99 employees, the employer mandate was delayed till January 1st of this coming year. And if you don't have coverage, of course, you pay the penalty. This year, it's $325 or 2% of income, whichever is greater. Next year, it's $695 or 2% of income. And of course, a lot of people with small business say, well, you can go out and buy your own coverage on the exchange, whether your state has its own exchange, like in California with Cover California, Cover Oregon, or if you're in a state that didn't set up their own.
Sally, we're just about out of time. I want to make sure that the people can get a hold of you because you've clearly know a thing or two about the subject of Obamacare. How can people find out more about the Pacific Research Institute?
Our website is www.pacificresearch.org.
Pacificresearch.org, and I know that they could find a lot of information about your writings and your research on the subject. Sally, we'll check back in with you soon. This is not the end of the conversation. Obamacare is an experiment, and there's still a lot more to learn. Sally Pipes, thanks for joining us on the program. We Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, your solution center. Checking them out, tandemhr.com. I've got more tips, advice, and information for you after the break.
Hi there.